David had always trusted Emily. They had been together for nearly 7 years, married for 4, and while their relationship had its ups and downs, he had never imagined she would betray him. But lately, things had started to feel off. Emily had grown distant, her laughter no longer as warm, her touches no longer as frequent. She was spending more time on her phone, always texting someone with a small, secretive smile. When David asked, she would brush it off with a quick, "Just talking to Sarah," or "work stuff." At first, he ignored it. Maybe she was just going through something. Maybe work was stressing her out. But then the showers started, long, late-night showers. The kind that lasted way longer than usual, always when he wasn't home, or at least when she thought he wasn't. David worked night shifts twice a week, something that had been a part of their routine for years. But one night, when he forgot his wallet at home, he drove back unexpectedly. That was when he heard it. The water running, the faint sound of laughter, and, most disturbingly, a second voice. A man's voice. His blood turned cold. He stood frozen at the front door, listening, his mind struggling to accept what his ears were telling him. He wanted to believe he had misheard. Maybe the TV was on, maybe she was on a call. But deep down, he knew. He knew. He didn't go inside that night. He turned around, drove to a diner, and sat in his car for hours, staring at nothing. He needed proof. He couldn't just accuse her without being sure. So he waited. He watched. Over the next few weeks, he started paying closer attention. Emily's behavior only got more suspicious. The way she quickly ended phone calls when he walked into the room. The way she suddenly cared about how she looked even when she was supposed to be staying home. The way she seemed distracted when they talked. Tonight, he decided, would be the night he got his answer. David pretended to leave for work as usual. He kissed Emily goodbye, just like always, acting as if nothing was wrong. But instead of driving to work, he parked a few blocks away, turned off his headlights, and waited. 30 minutes passed, then an hour. He almost started doubting himself. Maybe he was just being paranoid. But then, right on cue, a car pulled up. A sleek black sedan. He watched as a tall man stepped out, looking around cautiously before walking up to his front door. The door opened before he could even knock, and Emily pulled him inside. David's hands clenched around the steering wheel. His chest felt tight, a mix of anger, heartbreak, and disbelief choking him. He gave them 15 minutes. He wanted to be sure. Then he got out of his car, walked to the side of the house, and slipped in through the back door. The house was silent, except for the faint sound of the shower running upstairs. He climbed the stairs slowly, deliberately, his heart pounding with each step. When he reached the hallway, he hesitated. The bathroom door was slightly ajar, steam pouring out from inside. He could hear them, laughter, whispering, the unmistakable sound of two people too comfortable in his home. His home. His vision blurred with fury, but he didn't burst in. No, that would be too easy. He wanted them to feel it, to panic, to know they had been caught. He turned around and made his way down to the basement. His fingers were steady as he reached for the valve, twisting it sharply. The hot water shut off instantly. The reaction was immediate. A loud, startled shriek echoed through the house, followed by a deeper, more frantic voice. "What the hell?" David smirked. He turned and walked back up the stairs, his footsteps slow and measured. "Oh my God!" Emily's panicked voice followed. "What do we do?" David reached the bathroom door just as the shower curtain rustled violently. He pushed the door open. Steam still clung to the air, but it wasn't thick enough to hide the two figures inside. Emily, wrapped in a towel, her face pale with shock, and the other man, half-dressed, dripping wet, frozen in place. For a moment, no one spoke. David's voice was eerily calm when he finally broke the silence. "Having a nice shower?" Emily gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. "David, Save it!" He cut her off. His eyes shifted to the man standing awkwardly behind her. He was younger, maybe mid-20s, with messy hair and a face that reeked of guilt. Look, man, I didn't know she was married, the guy stammered. David let out a bitter laugh. Really? She forgot to mention the husband who owns this house? Emily stepped forward, tears welling in her eyes. Please, David, just let me explain. But David had heard enough. He turned on his heel and walked away, his mind already made up. There was nothing left to say. Behind him, Emily's voice cracked. David, please. He didn't stop. He didn't look back. Tonight, the hot water wasn't the only thing that had been shut off.